we have to solve this word problem. A man is standing on the roof of a building 11 feet above the ground. He throws a ball into the air with an initial vertical velocity of 40 feet per second. The height of the ball, t seconds after it is thrown into the air, is given by h is equal to negative 16t squared plus 40t plus 11, where h is measured in feet. How long after the ball is thrown into the air will its height be 27 feet from the ground? I've taken the time to draw a simple diagram here, very simple with a little stick man, but it gives us an idea of what the path of the ball will look like. And one of the things that we can kind of see is as long as the ball makes it to as high as 27 feet, we're actually going to get two separate answers here because it's going to pass 27 feet on the way up, but it also would appear that the ball is going to have to pass 27 feet on the way down. So let's see if we can confirm that with math. Again, we have an equation, h is equal to negative 16t squared plus 40t plus 11, an equation that tells us how high the ball will be t seconds after it is thrown. Now, if they tell me t, I can find the height. If they ask me how high will the ball be if 2 seconds after you throw the ball into the air, then I can simply plug in 2 for t and do the calculation and get an answer. However, this problem doesn't tell me t, the problem asks me how long, so I know I'm solving for t. How long does it take for the ball to be 27 feet off the ground? I have to solve this equation. It is a quadratic equation because of the t squared, and to solve a quadratic equation, generally we want to set the problem up so that we have all the variables on one side and 0 on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 27 from both sides, and this gives me 0 is equal to negative 16t squared plus 40t minus 16. Now, one thing about a quadratic equation, whether I want to try to factor it or maybe use the square root property and complete the square, or even if I want to use the quadratic formula, my life is going to be easier if the numbers are smaller. I don't really want to create any fractions or decimals, but notice if I divide everybody in this problem by 8, 8 will go evenly into all those numbers. Also, my leading coefficient is negative. I really don't want to work with a leading coefficient that is negative, so instead of dividing by positive 8, I'm actually going to divide everybody by negative 8. I'm going to put my equation back up over here. I'm also going to rewrite it because I'm used to working with 0 on my right side instead of my left side. So I'm going to move the 0 over to the other side. Negative 16 divided by negative 8 gives me 2t squared. Positive 40t divided by 8 gives me negative 5t. And negative 16 divided by negative 8 gives me positive 2. Now again, as a quadratic equation, I do have the option of trying to factor this if I can. And I will tell you that this equation actually can be factored. However, I'm going to just go ahead and use the quadratic formula this time. So, remember, in a quadratic formula, our leading coefficient is our a, our linear coefficient, or the one in front of the regular t, is our b, and our constant term is our c. And our formula says t will be equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So I'm going to go ahead and work this out and plug everybody in. So negative of negative 5, if my b is negative 5, then negative b will be positive 5, plus or minus negative 5 squared minus 4 times positive 2 times another positive 2 over 2 times 2. So t is equal to 5 plus or minus the square root of 25 minus 16 over 4. Continuing to simplify, 25 minus 16 is actually just 9. And this problem is nice because the square root of 9 is really just 3. Now, one thing about it, when a problem is nice, we have to work a little harder to make sure our answers also look very nice. We have to keep in mind that this is two separate answers. One of my answers is 5 plus 3 divided by 4. And my other answer is 5 minus 3 divided by 4. That's what the plus or minus means. Well, 5 plus 3 is 8, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. 5 minus 3 is 2, and 2 divided by 4 is a fraction. I can reduce that to 1/2. You could use 0.5 if you want. So I'm actually getting two different answers here, which again is confirmed in my diagram. Basically, 1/2 second after you throw the ball into the air, it passes 27 feet on the way up. And then for about another 1.5 seconds, it'll go up and come back down. And at t = 2 seconds, it'll pass 27 feet again on the way back down. So our math coincides with our diagram. The ball will be 27 feet off the ground after 1/2 second and after 2 seconds.